I never thought my quiet suburban life would unravel like a poorly knit sweater, but it all started with that whisper. My name is Elena Thompson, and I live in a modest two-story house on Maple Street, the kind of place where everyone knows your business, but pretends they don't. Or so I thought. The neighbor in question was Mr. Hargrove, an elderly man in his late 70s with a hunched back, wire-rimmed glasses, and a habit of tending to his rose garden at odd hours. He rarely spoke to anyone, except for the occasional wave or grunt when retrieving his mail. That night, though, everything changed. It was a humid summer evening, the kind where the air clings to your skin like an unwanted embrace. I just finished dinner alone. My husband, Mark, was away on another business trip, something about closing a deal in Chicago, and I stepped out onto the porch to water the potted ferns. The sun had dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of bruised purple and orange. Streetlights flickered on one by one, casting long shadows across the lawns. That's when I saw him, Mr. Hargrove, shuffling toward the fence that separated our properties, his cane tapping softly against the pavement. "Elena," he rasped, his voice barely audible over the chirping crickets. I leaned in closer, assuming he needed help with something mundane, like borrowing sugar or complaining about the neighborhood kids. But his eyes, usually dull and distant, were sharp, almost frantic. He glanced over his shoulder as if expecting someone to emerge from the darkness, then whispered, "Your secret is out." The words hung in the air like smoke, thick and suffocating. Before I could respond, before I could even process what he'd said, he turned and vanished into the night, melting into the shadows of his overgrown backyard. I stood there, frozen, the watering can dangling from my hand, droplets spilling onto the wooden planks. My secret? Which one? We all have them, don't we? Little white lies we tell ourselves to sleep at night, buried under layers of normalcy. But mine was different. It was a monster I'd kept chained in the basement of my mind for over a decade. And if it was out, if someone knew, then my carefully constructed life was about to crumble. Let me take you back. It started 15 years ago, when I was 25 and fresh out of college, working as a junior accountant at a mid-sized firm in Boston. I was ambitious, driven, the kind of person who stayed late and volunteered for extra projects. That's where I met David. He was my boss, married with 2 kids, but charisma oozed from him like expensive cologne. Our affair was cliché: stolen glances in meetings, late-night emails that turned personal, hotel rooms booked under false names. I told myself it was love, that his wife didn't understand him, that we'd build a future together. But deep down, I knew it was wrong. One night, after a particularly heated argument with his wife over the phone, David showed up at my apartment, drunk and desperate. "I can't do this anymore," he slurred, collapsing onto my couch. "She knows something's up. We have to end it." I panicked. The thought of losing him, of losing the excitement, the validation, terrified me. In a moment of madness, I slipped something into his drink. Not poison, nothing lethal. Just a sedative strong enough to knock him out.